Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, and happy Easter to those of you who celebrate it. Those of you who may not celebrate it, happy Sunday to you. Either way, I hope everybody's having a great day. Just got back from dinner with my in-laws. I'm actually one of those people who have good in-laws, and I enjoy my time with my in-laws. So had a great dinner, came back home, want to put a quick video out. It will be a fast one today. And the weather's pretty nice outside. A little windy, but the weather is pretty nice for the most part, and I noticed the pool water was 85 degrees. So I'm about to go hop in the pool after I get done with this video. I wanted to have a little bit of fun. You guys know the comment section is my passion. It's my passion. I freaking enjoy the comment section. You know, real quick side note, a lot of people mistake folks like me, and let's be honest, a whole lot of other people on social media who shouldn't be put on a pedestal. I repeat, should not be put on a pedestal. Just because, and I do like what I do, but just because I put videos out, I'm still just a standard issue, average American white dude, right? Nothing really special about me. I can fumble my way through the English language and put a complete sentence together most of the time. Other than that, I don't really have any outstanding skills that most of you out there don't already have. So whenever we put videos out and we kind of become members in the public eye, I think viewers in a lot of cases, because they're not putting videos out and they're not doing these same things, tend to incorrectly put people like me up on a pedestal. Like, I've gotten comments, you should be a better leader than that, or you should be a better role model, or just maybe comments saying that you're not this or you're not that. And I have to repeat all the time, you'll see it in the comment section down below. Y'all put me, and I say y'all, I know a lot of you guys are like me. You consider me an equal. But there's other people out there that incorrectly put people like me on a pedestal and think more highly of me than what you should. Again, standard issue white guy right here. Do not put me on a pedestal. I don't claim to be the one that takes the higher ground. I will be petty in a freaking heartbeat. I will stoop to that level. Make no mistake. I never sat here and said, I'm the better person. No, 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 no. If anybody has that assumption of me, it's wrong. Because I will drop down into the bowels of hell and have it out with you in the comment section. So once again, please don't look at this video with the fun I'm poking in the rest of this video as being, I can't believe he's doing that. Then you must be new here. Because I have no problem doing that. Again, I never put myself on the pedestal, so don't do it incorrectly. There was a post made by a, let's see, her name is Jennifer Mascia, I guess. She claims to be, this is her own bio, not me saying this about her, Miami-born, California-bred New Yorker. Wow. Wow. Okay, well, just that line alone probably is the reason why, if you look at the very bottom line where it says not followed by anyone you're following, yeah, because she's Miami-born, California-bred New Yorker, tells me everything I need to know about her. That's why no one I follow follows her, or vice versa. But looks like she's very proud of her pedigree. Columbia Journal, I guess, Hunter College, MVHS, Diablos, alum, Senior News, and here you go. Team Trace, which is where she currently writes for. The Trace, you know, that's that anti-gun movement out there. Kind of like the Moms Demand Crazy Actions or the Giffords Crazy Ladies. Same thing, Trace just kind of fancies itself as being a publication when it's really just kind of a an anti-gun movement that surrounds itself with what would appear to be journalists and journalism, but it's really just an anti-gun organization that's simply masquerading as a journalism outfit. And of course, you see she used to work at CNN, or maybe she does currently contributor at CNN, and she used to work at New York Times. So again, everything we needed to know about Jennifer, we pretty much can realize that she's not going to be the life of the party if we go to a party. I'm talking about people like me, standard issue white guy. Yeah, she's not going to be the one that I'm going to be partying with, quote unquote. She made a post yesterday, and I don't know how I stumbled across it because I don't follow the lady. She seems like a nice enough person, to be quite honest with you. Again, I don't know her personally. Just she's putting herself out there from a professional standpoint, and that's what I'm poking fun at right now. Make no mistake, I don't know her personally. But she posted yesterday, guns are the #1 cause of death for Gen Z, which is age 13 to 28. I found it remarkable that somebody would post that, making it sound like guns are the issue within Gen Z and not Gen Z is the issue. You follow what I'm saying? She's making a very clear point that within the ranks of Gen Z, that guns are the issue. Not realizing that maybe Gen Z is what's different, because they are the ones shooting each other up. Nowhere in what she's writing about or talking about does she actually talk about demographics, geography, anything like that. It's just very, very basic stuff. So I responded to her, now break it down by city. I have the little laughing emoji there because I know she's not going to break it down by city because she works for the Trace. So I knew that I would get a stupid response, and I did. She responded by posting the Gun Violence Archive website telling me, why don't you? Now, those of you that know me know that I have debunked multiple times for the last 2 years the Gun Violence Archive's own website. I actually made them change. They had a heading on there that said school shootings, and what it was simply if somebody brought a gun to a school, like a child, like if a 6th grader brought a gun to school in his backpack and they discovered it, they would list that as a school shooting. They would use those words, school shooting. I reached out to them and I gave them multiple, probably hundreds of examples of where they were wrong, that not a single gunshot was fired on the property. In fact, same thing if it were across the street from a school and they found a gun in a backpack, they would call that a school shooting. I'm not joking when I tell you this. They would quantify those as school shootings, quote unquote. Reached out to them, showed them where they were wrong. A little bit of tit for tat, not bad, because they knew they were wrong, and Gun Violence Archive corrected it. They acted like they had made updates to the website and they just hadn't noticed that it said school shootings. Oh, that should say school incidents. So they changed it from school shootings to school incidents. I actually have the screenshots on my computer somewhere that show where it used to say school shootings, where it now says school incidents. So they did correct that. So I have a history with the Gun Violence Archive. I also break down what they consider to be mass shootings, which are erroneous, very, very incorrect data. So I'm no stranger to the Gun Violence Archive. So clearly Jennifer does not know me, and I don't expect her to know me. I'm a little nothing, again, standard issue white guy. So she clearly doesn't know that I have a really good history with Gun Violence Archive and that she's using a source that is incorrect. I then responded back to her and said, I actually break those numbers down monthly, sugar. You must be a new follower. Didn't expect that, did you, smart ass? Because she was clearly being a smart ass when she told me, why don't you break them down? So instead of realizing she's probably in over her head, she responds again. The Trace breaks down gun sales and numbers monthly, and GVA breaks down shooting numbers daily. Not just cities, but all over America. Doubt you have anything that compares to that. Have a blessed day. First of all, again, the Trace is a propaganda piece, so they break down gun sales monthly. Yeah, whatever. Nobody believes anything the Trace says. In fact, people on their side don't believe it anyway because they know it's a propaganda site. So I responded back to her, again, I break them down by motive, which helps honest people who care actually work to fix the problem. Neither the Trace or GVA does that, nor cares to fix the problem. Weird. I make that comment because it always baffles me that the ones who are claiming that they're trying to make the streets safer, they don't do anything to make the streets safer. They talk about gun safety, but nothing that they suggest has anything to do with safety. It's about banning, which banning leaves the person there. So the deadly person is still on the street. We're no more safe than we were before you banned that inanimate object because you left the evil out there. I'm the one who created my motive classification method to break down these different types of shooting by motive, because if you don't know what the problem is, you can't fix the problem. I care. That's why I break these numbers down, because I'm trying to drill down to the actual root cause. It's got nothing to do with race or anything else. It's the root cause. A lot of domestic murders out there that are taking place. That's mostly white people. So I'm focused on those just as much as everything else. But these people can't stand the fact that people on our side care and care enough to try to fix the problem, because they have fancied themselves as being the only ones that care. Just because they call for the gun reform and the anti-gun laws and the gun control laws, they think that makes them seem like they're the caring people. Yet here I am out here actually trying to find out what the problem is so we can fix it. They don't try to. That's why I responded with that comment. But she wasn't having it. She wasn't through with me. She was on her high horse, the Trace high horse. So she responded again, we're reporters. Solutions are something we report on, but implementing them is for lawmakers. We can't fix the problem. We're a nonprofit journalism outlet. Hope that helps. Friends, that should tell you everything you need to know about gun control people on the left. Everything. I want you to read into that. This is how they think. You know how we're right in the middle of the age of unaccountability? Nobody's holding themselves or anybody associated with them accountable for anything. It's always somebody else's fault, right? Same with these people. They don't want to piss off the voters who are shooting and killing each other, so they attack something else that makes them look like they're doing something, but yet they don't piss off the people who are casting those Democrat votes out there. By her saying we're reporters, that's the first sign of her ducking and dodging any responsibility to fix the problem. Now, let me ask you guys something. When she says we're reporters, you see what I do. Those of you who follow me, you see what I do every single day. I don't consider myself a journalist because journalism is such a dirty word, because I think they're scumbags. I think journalists are inherently dirty scumbags because I think they subscribe to a certain motive as far as what their agenda is, and that's all they're willing to look at. They don't want to see anything else. And if it doesn't add to whatever propaganda, whatever design, whatever message they're trying to put out there, they won't report on it. They simply won't. It doesn't matter how truthful it is. They want no part of it. They call themselves reporters, right? Would you say that I'm as much or less of a journalist / reporter than her? Again, I don't claim that title, but I've looked at some of her stuff. I do way more work than this chick does. Way more work. What she's basically doing is exactly what you saw her do. She's sharing a link with Gun Violence Archive with me. That's the level of journalism she subscribes to. She's not a journalist, but this is her way of saying, oh, that's not my job. We're reporters. That's not my job. Solutions are something we report on, but implementing them is for lawmakers. So caring about people shooting themselves is not the job of a reporter. That's for the lawmakers. She says, we can't fix the problem. We're a nonprofit journalism outlet. And then condescendingly says, hope that helps. You see where they go with this kind of stuff, right? They don't have any intention of helping. What if you accidentally stumbled across the cure for cancer? Would you hide it? Because you're only a reporter? Not your job, right? If you stumbled across the solution for, quote, gun violence, as they like to call it, would you hide it? If you found that magical thing out there that told you this will fix all of the, quote, gun violence that they espouse, would you just go, not my job. I'm just a reporter. I can't talk about this. I can't put this out there. No, you wouldn't. And I wasn't taking that for an answer either. I responded, nah, I already knew journalists weren't looking for solutions. Why bother, right? In her condescending way, she responded one final time to me. We're not allowed to lobby because we're a nonprofit. Maybe you need to read the law. First of all, what this broad doesn't know, I used to be a lobbyist. I still work with Gun Owners of America, but I'm not the state director for Louisiana anymore. I work more in the media side of it. I was a lobbyist when I was the Louisiana state director for Gun Owners of America. Monthly, I had to turn in a lobbyist report to the state of Louisiana because I was a registered lobbyist with the state of Louisiana. So I know how lobbying works. So she's saying as a nonprofit, they're not allowed to lobby. Do you realize that most nonprofits lobby? GOA, Gun Owners of America, is a nonprofit. I was a lobbyist for GOA. It is legal. You have very strict requirements, but it's absolutely legal. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of lobbyists who work for nonprofits, including Gifford's organization, Every Town for Crazy Moms, probably the Trace. All of these people pay money to politicians. They lobby. They buy them dinner. They probably buy them other stuff. They give money to their campaigns. That's called lobbying. And it's legal. It's perfectly legal. But this broad is telling me that I need to read the law because she knows better. And that's her excuse for not trying to help fix the problem because she's a 501c and all she can do is report. She can't lobby. She's going off on all kinds of different tangents now. Now she's telling me that she can't look for the problem. She's telling me she can't lobby, all because I'm just a little old journalist. That's all I do. So I responded to her because I believe she's stupid. I think I accidentally confused you. Honest reporting isn't, quote, lobbying. If you accidentally stumbled across a solution, you're telling me you'd hide it because you're just a little old journalist? Come on, be honest. You're not even trying. That's the level of stupidity for these people. They really don't care. They really don't care. It's part of their whole act to act like they care. They feel like they're the party of caring. They really don't care. They look for excuses. They have convinced themselves within their own little groups that they don't have to actually try to care. As long as they say they care and have a reason why they don't do anything to help, then they're good. You see what I'm saying? Anybody can help. There's no title that means you can or cannot help look for a solution to any problem out there. There's no degree required. There's no exception that means, no, you can't do this. Anybody, lobbyist, non-lobbyist, non-profit, for-profit, politician, journalist, non-journalist, banker, yard guy, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or what your title is. If you have the means and the heart to try to find a solution to a problem, you do it. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. But they have convinced themselves that as long as they sound smart when they say that they can't help, that gives them the out to not have to help. They're not looking to help. They don't care. There's nothing in their little circle that makes them want to find a solution. And they're going to find every excuse to tell you, this is why I'm not fixing the problem. Oh, it's lawmaker. Don't give me this, it's lawmakers' responsibility to do that. They're the last ones that care. I would give this broad from the Trace more credit for caring about the average person shooting each other up at the tennis courts in Washington, D.C. than anybody that's in Congress. I know the ones in Congress don't care. At least I'm giving this chick the benefit of the doubt. Lawmakers are the last ones that I want to leave it in their care for. No, we're not going to leave it up to them. In fact, lawmakers ain't looking for anything anyway. They're looking for people from the Trace and Every Town for Crazy Moms and all these Gifford's organizations. That's who they use as sources to tell them what to put in bills. So really, it is them that's making the things and the policy and the legislation go through, because the lawmakers don't know. They lean on these people. When Biden was in office, that's exactly what they did. They brought all these anti-gun groups into the White House to determine how to write these laws, like the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. That was written by Giffords, Every Town for Crazy Moms, and all those people, the Brady Group, all those people. They wrote that bill. These politicians don't know squat about what happens in the real world. Anyway, I thought I would have a little bit of fun with that. It's always fun for me to undress these idiots out there, and I don't mean that in a literal way, obviously, but it's fun for me because when dummies, that's the other thing about these people on the left, they have convinced themselves that they're smarter than anybody on the right. They truly believe that. I think they really do believe that. They honestly think because we talk with a little bit of an accent, that I live in the South, that I drink a beer, that I must be stupid because I don't live in New York City. Oh, he just lives in South Louisiana. He's stupid. So they convince themselves of that. So I take tremendous pride in putting stuff like this and showing them how stupid they are and leaving it on full display. That's why I took screenshots of all this. Honestly, most of our conversation is still out there. I think she deleted the last 2 comments, but most of it, to her credit, is still out there. I expect her, especially after this video, she's probably going to delete everything. By the way, if you don't already follow me on X, boy, you should. You really should. And be careful who you try to follow on X because there's some accounts out there that are not me. My handle is Paul_of_LAA, as you see right here. Make sure you only follow that one because there's a couple of old accounts that I had when it was the old Twitter and they deleted me because they didn't like what I was saying. But this account here has stuck, the current one, because Elon owns X now. So make sure you follow this one. But if you don't follow me, you might want to. If you don't have thick skin, don't follow me on X. X is the wild, wild west, Big Daddy. X is crazy. X is cray-cray. X is like you gathered up a bunch of your friends, met at somebody's house, barbecued, drank a little bit of beer, and said, let's go out to a bar. And then you go out to a bar where the people in the bar ain't all your friends. Something's going to hit the fan. And that's what X is. I absolutely love X. If you don't follow me there, if you like edgy stuff, you'll want to follow me on X. If that kind of stuff hurts your feelings and you think you're going to get a bad impression of me, don't go over there. You ain't going to like what you see. If you're one of those people who have put me up on a pedestal, don't go to X. Because you'll probably stop following me here. Guys, hope you had a great Easter Sunday. If you don't follow Easter, you don't celebrate Easter, hope you had a great Sunday. Big week ahead of us next week. A lot of stuff going on going forward. I think there's going to be some big news stories coming out tomorrow, some leaks, if you will. I'll keep you guys up to date on that. If you don't mind, guys, please tell your friends and family members about this channel. Please ask them to follow me and subscribe to me on YouTube. Also, sharing the video really helps get the message out there because a lot of my videos are demonetized. So that's a big help if you don't mind. Like the video as well. And certainly comment down below. Commenting is a lot of fun for me. I love the comment section. You're going to see me very, very active in the comment section for the first 2, maybe 3 days of a video being out. But I put a video out daily, so I can't be that active as the video gets a little bit older. So jump down in the comment section down below. Get crazy. But go follow me on X too. It's a lot of fun over there.